Welcome everyone to yaylive, the loyalty podcast for direct-to-consumer brands. We are here to help brands navigate the new loyalty playbook in order to build a long-lasting and successful brand. And for today's episode, we welcome Benjamin, Country Manager France at Mollie, a checkout solution that helps companies scale through effortless payment methods. And with Benjamin, we'll talk about how the industry is evolving, new trends, but we'll also use his expertise in payments to help you understand how to set up a good foundation for scalability when it comes to payments, and also very concretely what to focus on when choosing a payment solution provider. So thank you very much for being with us today, Benjamin. And to start with, maybe can you give us a short introduction about yourself and Mollie?
I'm Benjamin Long. I'm in charge of the French market at Mollie. I've been launching the French market 3 years ago in this company. We're a payment service provider, European one. Yes, quite a nice success story around Mollie that have been growing quite a lot. When I joined, we were 60, now we're 700 and soon to be 1,000. So we're in the hyper growth phase, which is quite amazing, but also coming with some challenges. That's Mollie is a European payment service provider providing multiple payment options for e-commerce players.
So we're very happy to have you here, Benjamin. And to start with, I would ask you that first one question. Why do you actually think that the attention in the e-commerce space is shifting from acquisition to retention?
The retention is something that is key, and it comes a lot. It's really linked to the user experience. At the end of the day, you want to have your clients experiencing the best possible customer journey on your website, right? And that comes with different tools that can support that. And at the end of the day, if you are not providing a good experience, then your clients will just go to the next store, and where there is more better experience. So you really have to understand that indeed there is a huge competition out there, and the best experience you can provide, the better you will play on retention. And a returning client is way better than a new client, actually.
Yeah, I mean, actually, what you're saying is very true. It's also like during the pandemic, the e-commerce has been growing a lot, and there is more and more competition out there. So, of course, it is like super important for brands to optimize the processes and make the customer experience really as easy as possible. And are there like some trends that you've been, experiencing or seeing, like you think will be defining a bit the new landscape in the new few years to enhance the customer experience, like technology, like for example AR, voice commerce? What do you think like will be a bit of the game-changing trends in future?
Yeah, there is a lot, and so there is the one specifically around payments that are indeed everything around how easy it is to pay. That makes sense. You don't want to have like a really painful payment experience. So for us, there is indeed all the ability to pay with your mobile device, the wallets that are booming, all those trends that are quite key. So everything related to how easy it is to go through your checkouts. But overall, I think everything that is allowing you to have the same kind of experience than the one you will have in store is quite important. So indeed, having AR, these kind of tools that will allow your clients to feel the product that you're pushing will help them to project themselves into buying, and then you have to have the right funnel to pay and to do your logistic and everything. The returns part is also an important topic,
Yes.
but indeed, you guess right. And that's definitely something you have to focus on.
Mm. But when you are actually like a small brand and you're just starting your store, would you have like a few tips to give to our audience on like what should be like for you the maybe like 3 or 4 very strong focus point from day one, just to make sure that they don't miss out on anything or don't do like anything like super wrong when it comes to customer experience? What should be like the main thing to look at?
I think we are all talking about being customer centric, but being customer centric means a lot of different things, right? So the first thing you need to know is you understand your customer to be customer centric, and then you have to have the right strategy. And when you don't have a lot of budget when you're launching your e-commerce, you don't want to have a blanket approach and have attack everyone, because you'll just spread money or waste money actually on your acquisition channels, and that's not the best way to do it. You need to understand exactly the persona, your buying type persona, deep diving a lot into that and have a really chirurgical approach, going to it, without spreading too much of your budget. Then you have, as soon as you have that you have identified your buying persona, then you can indeed go into what are the tools that will help me to serve them the best possible way. And there, indeed, you have the tech aspect that will enter into consideration, and this is where you can also allow your client to live the best experience.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting what you're saying. Also, when it comes down to personalization, we talk a lot about like, being customer wants to feel like unique and be personalized, and I guess it's also something which is a bit easier to do if you focus more on a niche, that if you actually try to target everyone, then it's way more difficult to be relevant in your branding, in your messaging, and also like in the customer experience that you actually deliver.
Definitely, it's a lot about sending the right message at the right person at the right moment, right? It's the marketing things that we're always saying. And at the end of the day, if you don't know who is your target audience, then you have hard time to do that, and then you have the hard time to attract your people to your website and then convert them.
Yeah, but I think it's also something that actually applies to like any type of business, and not
Yeah,
only like when you run an e-commerce. But I think at the beginning it is very important to keep focus on who is your ideal customer and who you should actually market and target to, actually not, as you say, like to spend enormous amount in marketing expenses targeting the wrong audience, basically.
definitely.
So that is actually a very, very good tip for audience. But maybe to inspire us a little bit, do you think about actually any brand who is like sort of like doing extremely well when it comes to like retention, loyalty, deliver like super good customer experience? Can you maybe share a bit with us, like either you as a like a supplier seeing like one of your customer excelling at that, or maybe as a customer buying at a brand that you think is extremely good in doing this?
Yeah, I have a few in mind actually. I have one that we're working with Mollie is Ysé Paris. That is a really nice brand, and I think doing a great job when it comes to customer loyalty by having some automated touch points with their clients, but semi-automated, right? Because they're also having personalized scenarios, and I think they're doing a great job there. And you have a few other brands that I'm thinking of, such as Sezane, for instance. I think is doing a good job also on that. You really feel like if you have a problem, you're really supported, and if you want to have specific answers, they can do that at scale somehow, which is good because you feel like you're unique, but in the meantime you feel like it's a good machine that you can rely on. So yeah, we do have a few examples like that, often into fashion. I think fashion is a vertical that is pushing the limits into trying to find the best balance to offer the right customer experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that fashion is actually, what, probably like one of the most competitive vertical in e-commerce. So of course they need to be like at the forefront. And I think Easy is actually a very good example. It's actually also a customer of ours, and I'm also like actually a customer of theirs. And I actually experienced that myself last week. I received like a parcel, and then after that I got like a survey about how I experienced the delivery and how I like the parcel. And I think it was actually really good because they put like a very small package, and I was surprised because so many brands like send you like super big package with a lot of air. So I gave that comment, and after that I received a email, I think it was from customer support, which was very actually personalized, referring on the comment I put on the survey. And then I felt, okay, that's really good brand because they actually consider what I said to improve. And I think as a customer, when you see that, you feel, of course, like very unique.
Yeah.
And even though, of course, like you need a good customer support team in place to do that, I'm pretty sure that they, have found a way to automate and gather all the comments and automate these emails. So I think that there is a lot of what we say, like, automation, but personalization at scale is probably what will basically be like a game changer.
Yeah, definitely. Survey is a super good entry point actually, because then you can, mass send that, and then as soon as you receive qualitative answers, then you can play on that. And indeed, the people that are happy are the super interesting one. And if they take the time to answer your survey, it means that they have some kind of interest. So you have gold here that you can play with.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that we also see, with our product, that brands who have like a strong branding and strong audience get so much from their customers when it comes to feedback, and that is the key for them to actually improve their operations, their product, and build long term loyalty. But maybe let's use a little bit more of your expertise on the payment, if you allow us to help our audience understand a bit more this market, which I must say sometimes can feel a little bit overwhelming. There is a lot of payment solution out there, and I guess that you know that better than I do. But I think maybe what could be helpful is if you can help us understand a little bit like the different type of solution which are out there, and maybe like help us like categorize them a little bit, like understanding difference, between like maybe like Mollie, Klarna, Stripe, and other solutions to start with.
Yeah, indeed. There is a few big categories, I would say, on the payment landscape. You have the incumbent actors that are often banks that are providing solutions that are often, in terms of technology, quite old, but they have a huge footprint because they're often have the good branding. You know your bank, so you tend to go with them because it's, at the end of the day we are talking about money, right? So you want to trust the company you're working with there. Then you have another category that is the added value PSPs, payment service providers, and those ones are indeed the Adyen, Stripe, Mollie, Klarna, all those ones that will have not just payment, but will add services on top of that that will enhance your capacity to do your business. And there is a lot to say. So I will just talk about the last category that is more the local players that are in between the incumbents and the added value PSPs, and those are often local players that have just a national focus. That could be good because they have also sometimes good price, but they have really limited services. So when it comes to the big boys, I would say or big girls, I don't know, no gender here,
Yeah, maybe.
uh,
Yeah, the big guys.
guys, let's say, indeed, then indeed you can see that there is, payment is really fragmented. We always believe that credit card will allow you to go everywhere, which it's not true. Actually, you have, depending on the country you're selling, you need to have different payment options, and with different payment options comes complexity. So you need to have a tech stack that allow your clients to be able to select the right payment method for their customer, because you want, at the end of the day, your customer to pay with their own payment method, the one they want to pay with. So you need to have the right level of customization, the right choice in terms of payment method, depending on where your clients are. And this is just the entry point, because then you have a lot of services that are linked to that. You can have lendings, you can have card issuing, you can have expense management, you can have a lot of financial services that will help your business to thrive.
Mm. Yeah, actually, it's quite interesting that you're mentioning like the local payment method, because I mean Europe, is quite a diverse actually market, and each country have their own sort of like preference. So, how important for you is it like for a brand to offer like from day one national and international payment option, and when should a brand invest more into this? Because I guess when you start on your local market, maybe you have as you see like a local payment provider. When should you start like looking at expanding that, and what is the best sort of like next step that this type of brand should take?
That's a very good question, because actually, the thing is that I've talked about technology, but technology without human touch is nothing, right? And especially in the payment, that is a complex area. Like 4 years ago, I had no clue about payments, and when I discovered the complexity of this universe, I've discovered that we had to put some service around that to help people understand. And indeed, when you're launching your business, the first focus you'll have is to say, okay, I want to have my local market covered well. And often you say, okay, that's credit card, for instance, in France, that, bank contact in Belgium, those kind of payment methods that are strong per country. But then often you realize that it's a borderless ecosystem, e-commerce. So you can really sell outside of your country quite easily. So on the selection process that you have on your PSP, you have to select the one that will allow you to serve your interest now, but also your interest in the future. And if you have a local player that will not help you to go outside of your borders, then you'll have a problem at one point. And this is where I think, at least at Mollie, we're trying to add value, is also to support into the strategy and say, okay, today you're selling in Germany, for instance, but tomorrow you'll have to sell in Netherlands. And how do you do that? Then you'll have payment method. But at that stage, we'll be able to support you on deciding which are the payment methods that are the most important for the customers that you'll have in that country.
Yeah.
So yeah, support is really key on top of the technology.
So what are you saying between the lines, that even when you start and you don't think like you should already like consider your expansion when you choose your sort of like first payment provider? That would be like your best piece of advice to.
Exactly, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I think it's super key to have that in mind at one point. Is that the beauty of e-commerce, that you can sell everywhere, but if you don't have the tools to do that, at one point it will limit your expansion. And you can have fast expansion in e-commerce. That's the beauty of it too. But if you don't have the right tools to do that, you will limit your conversion rate, you will limit your impact, and you will limit your sales.
Can you maybe tell us a little bit more, because you mentioned like services that you know like whereas they were used as a solution, like other solutions, same so like category add value. Can you maybe like elaborate a little bit on like which type of service on top of like pure payment provider you're providing with?
Yeah, I think there is a lot. So often when we think about payment, we think about, I'm on the Ysé website and I need to pay with my credit card. Okay, fine. But you also have everything that is linked to that. You can have, for instance, recurring payments where you say, okay, I want to have, package that is delivered every week. So, for instance, recurring payments is a totally different story. It's a different setup in terms of tech. So you have to have tools that can allow you to do that, because that's a trend that we see in the market. The recurring part is something that is booming.
Subscription, you mean?
Yeah, subscription model. Yeah,
Yeah, like website we use subscription model. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So that's something that is one of the added service that is quite simple to see. Indeed, you have the other payment methods that have different structure, and then you have also all the tools that are related to your cash management. For instance, how fast are you paid out? How the fraud system is working, because at the end of the day, you don't want to have fraud. You don't want to have transactions that are fraudulent. How do you deal with chargebacks? How do you deal with all those things that will impact your time a lot, but also the bottom line? And there is way more services. For instance, being able to um, be connected to the right platform. You have payment service provider that are not connected to Shopify or to Magento or to PrestaShop or to, whatever. So you have to have the right level of connection and the right
Mhm.
bridge. And on those bridge, often we have added value too. So for instance, on Magento, we'll have automated second chance email with a payment link into it. So when you have a card abandonment, you just have to click on the email, and then the basket is done again. So you have an direct impact on conversion, and conversion rate is the core.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I think it's quite interesting that you're mentioning like payment links in emails, because one topic that I wanted to like discuss a bit with you is actually like new sort of like payment method. Because to me, I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but I think like taking out my credit card from my wallet to have to pay online is a painful experience per se. So I think that now, I mean, of course, being in Sweden, we use Klarna quite a lot, and you have like your account and you don't have to do anything about it. But I think we've also seen a lot more during the pandemic about like payment via SMS, with links, and also like WhatsApp. So I wanted to hear you a bit more on like these sort of like new trends and how you see that evolving in coming future, and what are to you like the new big thing that brands should look out to innovate a bit the space.
Yeah, I think I've already started to touch point on that. Indeed, how easy it is to pay, all the trends around that, and are important. And indeed, the wallets are booming. There is people are paying more and more with Apple Pay, with Klarna, with PayPal, with other wallets such as those ones. And because they're offering an experience that will, indeed, you have to take your wallet, go to pick your wallet, then take your card, put your card number, and that's not the right date. It's not like the smooth experience that you have in shops, right? You need to have something that is more aligned, and their wallets are playing an important role. So you have those ones that are key, but there is also all the payment methods that are local, and that you're used to. At the end of the day, what you want is that you want to have your clients paying with the payment method that they prefer. If
Yeah,
they feel comfortable paying with their credit card, they should have the choice to do
of
that.
course. Yeah.
But if they prefer to pay with their wallet, you should offer the opportunity for them to do that. And indeed, mobile payment is booming, wallet is booming, pay later is booming, buy now, pay later. All those trends are booming
Klarna,
too because they are facilitating the payment experience. And you also have a lot of trends around uh, communication payments. So it's like really WhatsApp payments, and that enhance your customer support actually, because when you have a client is calling you, I've tried to buy that, I can't, or and indeed I want that size, and it seems that you don't have in the website. I do Klarna, okay, then I'm just sending you a payment link. You just have to pay, and then it's way simpler than just reactivating a basket into your website, which is not a nice experience. So that allow also your customer support to offer a better experience. So there is a lot of trends.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting, and that ties back to like all the discussion about like how to actually turn customer support into like more like the sales agent and how to use them to convert. And we see a lot of potential with like how customer support can actually enhance the entire customer experience and be seen as a part of actually driving value for the brand. But maybe to conclude and help a bit our audience here. I mean, of course, I think that when they look at payment solution to choose like which one they should go with, they look a lot at the price, I guess, and I think it's quite important, especially when you grow, because they you mostly charge like a percentage per transaction. But on top of price, like what would be for you like your recommendation to any brand when like comparing two payment solution and assessing like both features and price? What should they like really focus on to make sure that they do the right choice for their own business?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. Indeed, price is an important component because it impacts directly the bottom line. But at the end of the day, you also want to pay something that will add value to your business and not just do like a commodity part on your checkout. And there you have to think about the strategy that you have for the long run. And if you think price, often you think local players. If you think local players, then you can't really go international. So you have some limits at one point on that. So the strategical aspect is important on the decision making. And you also have to think about who are the experts and who can support me. And you have solution where there is just a price, a solution, you have no support, not whatsoever, so you have no clue what payment method to add. So it's important also to have that in mind. Also, it's super important to check on the uptime of your provider, because if your provider is down half of the time, then you miss half of your sales, right? And you don't want to offer that as a customer experience. So uptime is key, but also level of safety. At the end of the day, we're talking about payments. Payments is money. Money is important in your business. Money is key, right? You don't want to have fraudulent transaction going through. You want to have a safe provider that is known, that is recognized, that is the right financial infrastructure around you. And you don't want to have a provider that can go bankrupt tomorrow because they will go with your money. So you also have to check a bit on the health of the provider that you'll have. And if you take a small ones could be good, but it could be tricky too. You have to be sure that they have some financial safety to ensure that they will be able to support you along your life. So those are a few topics. There is way more indeed. The payment catalog, the fraud systems, these kind of things, but it all ties back to specific needs that you can have, and some providers can help you with that, some providers can't. So
Thanks a lot for being with us today, Benjamin. I think you might have answered many questions that people have around the complex world of payments, how important it is to choose the right partner, and how it can help drive conversion and consequently scale. And actually, talking about scalability, it seems like you guys or Mollie are growing like a lot. So maybe you want to share your contact details and a little bit about like the job offers that you have at the moment as well, if someone in the audience is hunting for a job in that space just now.
no, yeah, indeed, we are hiring quite a lot of people currently, but I'm always available to answer questions through LinkedIn, for instance. You can find me on LinkedIn, that's not a problem, or shoot an email at benjamin.long@mollie.com. I'll be always happy to answer questions around payments or around e-commerce.
Thanks again, Benjamin. And to conclude, I would actually repeat what you said earlier, which I think was super interesting, because when even many brands start local, the beauty of e-commerce is that one can sell anywhere. But to reach that goal, thinking about scalability from day one is actually very key when it comes to operation and technology, which includes payments, of course. So thank you everyone for listening. We hope that you learned a lot and enjoyed that episode, and we hope that you stay tuned for the next ones.